Thank you for joining us, and welcome to Vault 710. Tonight we invite you to the Wasteland and into the Greener Pastures audio series. Our story is set in the Fallout universe, positioning us in the frozen tundra, many years after the Great War. Be prepared to imagine a world far bigger than the lower 48. Now here's your vault suit and your Pip-Boy. Settle in and try to get warm, while we tell the tale of hot snow, strange creatures, and conspiracy. Also, why you should never bring a mini-nuke underground. Please, enjoy.
Overseer's Log, March 26, 2296. I was doing my Monday morning duties around the vault. I only happened upon Daniel in my office when I came back to get my multi-tool. When he saw me, he almost dropped the Pip-Boy he was holding. He was almost certainly in the process of updating his maps using the Greenlander's Pip-Boy. I asked him what he was doing with it, even though I knew I wouldn't get an answer out of him. He's always had an evasive nature. It was a good thing I interrupted him, or he might have managed to download them properly. I don't know at what point Vault Tech had us remove the data corresponding to areas outside of the United States. They must have had their reasons, so I'm forced to fall back on their judgment. It's a good thing no one knows Gregory is conscious. I don't know why I'm leaving him alive. Every day he spends with Dr. Feldspar is another chance he can spill more of the secrets about the outside world. That would just feed into their delusions of survival out there. After Daniel was arrested and put in a cell, I made sure to render the Pip-Boy inoperable. We can see about repairing it and reprogramming it at a later date. I can't risk Daniel's actions emboldening more people. Before you know it, we'll have a full-scale riot on our hands. I've read the history of the Vault, and I already know how that plays out. I'm going to avoid that at any cost. It's hard to say which course of action will end up with more casualties. There is one thing I know, though. Vault Tech wouldn't be asking us to constantly get our health screened if they wanted us to throw our lives away in an irradiated wasteland. This Pip-Boy is far too dangerous to leave in anyone's hands, even mine. Even broken, it still poses a security risk. This Pip-Boy came from our vault. There's no doubt about it in my eye. It has a serial number that matches one we have in record as lost/MIA. There are others like this in our system that we can't account for. Who knows how many people could try to infiltrate our vault. Why is it happening now, though? 220 years down the line. I have a bad feeling. This is a sign of things to come. Things we're unprepared for. This is all the more reason not to let the dissenters get their way. We need everyone here if we're going to defend this place from whatever may come. Who knows how much information Daniel got? He was in the middle of the download process. I'm not sure how far he got. He may have managed to scrape together a fragmented version of the maps. I doubt he managed to complete the download. He's not the brightest. If he has someone helping him like Marie or Preston, then I might have a problem. They'd be one step closer to planning their escape. If I let that happen, I'd be known as the fool who let half his vault die in the snow. Vault Tech Mail. From Overseer Brooks to Kilroy McCarver. Subject, great job, numbnuts. So, can someone tell me how this kid managed to break into my office without anybody noticing? You do know part of your job is keeping this rabble away from any sensitive information and critical systems that could jeopardize the vault, right? Get your asses in gear before I unceremoniously remove you from your position. And tell your wife what you've been doing with Laura in the requisition room after hours.
Prison Log, number 430. Date, 26/2/96. Detainee, Daniel Trejoli. Arresting Officer, Dean McBride. Incident. Culprit was caught by the Overseer during an attempted theft of sensitive material relating to another case. When confronted, he surrendered and was quickly detained. No extreme measures were necessary. Prisoner has been placed in lockup. Other notes. He's pretty skilled. If only he'd used those deft hands for turning a wrench instead of twiddling bobby pins. He was a smart kid when we were in school. Very bright, but not one to acquiesce to authority. That mouth of his was always a problem too. It's surprising it hasn't gotten him into trouble yet. Hard to see an old friend of mine become a loser.
Overseer's Log, March 27th, 2296. I've compiled a list of possible defectors, all people who attended the recent meeting to organize a mass exit from the vault. Below is a list of everyone who is believed to be involved or to have abetted the theft of vault supplies for the proposed departure. Anderson, Anders. Charger, Lucy. Charger, Luke. Demeter, Christian. Demeter, Laura. Desandre, Marie. Drayton, Melanie. Feldspar, Rebecca. Feldspar, Troy. Fullmeister, David. Leeson, Neil. Marigold, Technova. Margrave, Preston. Queen, Paige. Scobald, David. Trejoli, Daniel. Wainwright, Newton.
Vault-Tech Mail. To Marie. From Technova. Subject: What's the plan? There's no way Daniel can hold out when the Overseer and Kilroy start into him. Preston went down to check in, make sure nothing bad was happening. Who knows how Brooks is going to react to this situation? I know we haven't thrown someone outside of the vault in a long time. Who's to say Brooks isn't crazy enough to try it? If he does, he'll have a full-scale riot on his hands. Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he thinks he can drop the hammer on us and we'll quietly slink back to work. You know I believe you. Something wrong is going on down there. Tell me you have a plan to save Daniel and get us the hell out of this vault before the Overseer doesn't give us a choice. I can see the way he glares at us when he thinks we're not paying attention. I remember when we were in school and Brooks wouldn't sit down, his ass bruised from talking back to his father. Looks like the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Marie Desandra's private log. Decrypting. March 27th, 2296. I can't believe the Overseer caught Daniel. I don't know what we'll do without the information he was supposed to get. We won't get a second chance to steal it. He's probably already destroyed it, like a child flipping over the board because he's losing. If it comes down to it, we'll break Daniel out, if he hasn't already done it himself. He'd better have a good excuse for getting caught. As long as he got a portion of the information downloaded, we might be able to recreate the areas that are missing, at least in the Alaska region. I can tinker with Daniel's Pip-Boy and see if we can pull up some more information. Hopefully he saw the maps with his eyes, too. Then we might have a chance of making something we can use. I wish I could have seen it for myself. Then I could have gotten a look at the notes he saved. That could have determined which direction we head in when we get out.
Troy Feldspar's Physician Terminal, 27/3/2296. I guess I'm divorced now. Rebecca sat me down after dinner and told me how she was going to leave with a group who was planning to explore the wasteland. I know I can't stop her. She's always been a fiery spirit. I should have known she'd find a way to leave the vault one day. You can't keep someone so special cooped up for their entire life. I want to go with her, but we both know that it would never work. The people of the vault need a doctor, and we're the only two in the whole vault. I knew I should have trained my replacement sooner. It seems silly because I'm only 35 years old. I'm not planning on retiring. If I'd known what it would mean, that I'd be stuck down here all alone the night I've taught someone. It's my own fault. I made my bed, now I have to lie in it. Those old Dean Domino songs were right about love. It really is a kick in the head. Wait, was that Dean Domino? Doesn't matter, I guess. I'm going to have my hands full when she leaves. I'm trying not to be mad, but what else can I do? I wouldn't survive out there. I don't know what it's like. But I do know what I'm capable of. It's cold enough down here that sometimes my fingers turn blue. Bad circulation. Up there I'd probably be the first to die of hypothermia. It is one of the most painless ways to go. When I was trying to sleep, I couldn't stop imagining my wife on the surface. Her body frozen, or eaten by bears, or trapped under the ice. There's nothing I can do to talk her out of it. I'm going to make sure they have everything they need when they leave the vault. Brooks be damned. That's all I can do for her now. I don't know the type of man I'd be without her. I guess I'll see soon enough. I don't think I've ever felt this alone in an underground bunker filled with people.
Overseer's Log, March 28th, 2296. I need to distract people from this mass exodus nonsense. If I'm lucky, I can kill two birds with one stone. We need to get to that oil as quickly as possible. Once people have their heat, they'll gladly eat the sugar bombs and go back to reading. I'm going to start extending the working hours. The labor group is going to have some words for me. I'm going to force them to start setting up the drill, though. They're also going to need to brush up on the Dunwich Company manuals and storage so that they don't hurt themselves any more than is necessary. No one here has a clue what to do with the raw uranium we're going to collect as a result. We'll need to find a proper way to dispose of it. The dwellers have some experience with black lung, along with the other illnesses and possible dangers associated with excavation. The negative air environment is going to be the first thing we need to set up. The area we're excavating is near the living quarters. We'll have to put up signage and barricades to prevent people from poking their noses in. The last time we had a vault expansion was over 100 years ago. There isn't much on records as to why that is. I can only assume it was to expand the living quarters. 80 years after slavery was abolished, the vault experienced a population boom well beyond what it was capable of supporting. In the deepest depths of the vault's archives, there's information about why this area was chosen. On the outside, it was seen as a way for America to quickly return to the region after the Chinese were wiped out, allowing the country early access to any oil left in Alaska, giving America a jump start in rebuilding. The owners of Dunwich Bores had designated certain areas during construction. These areas were only accessible by their employees. Most of the information is frankly horrifying, but has no bearing on how things work today. The removal of ancient artifacts to be brought to their headquarters, forcing the vault population to perform occult rituals, pumping different drugs into the air supply. It's hard to believe anyone would willingly do this to their fellow man, as if the slave collars weren't enough. I can only wonder what other brutal tactics they used, things they chose to leave out of the records. I can only imagine what would happen if I was forced to employ the old methods. At the moment, most people simply accept my direction. The ice is shifting, though, and people are getting angrier. If I don't act soon, we'll be considered a failure as a vault.
No one is happy with the overseer right now. Not a single person. He told everyone that the day of rest is going to be cancelled, as well as the day of good deeds. These days will instead be used for the expansion of the vault to accommodate future growth. Alright, he also said drilling will be expanded to include these days, and everyone will be expected to bring themselves up to speed on the safety manual located in their sector. I don't know what he's expecting to get from this. Lately he's been stopping by every hour on the hour to see how my current samples are progressing. It makes me want to work even slower. I doubt he'd get the hint, though. I remember when he saw the oil showing up on the spectrometer. His eyes lit up like he was looking at a treasure trove. Those two things alone should be enough to make me suspicious, especially after what Preston said at the meeting. Those heating coils are supposed to last indefinitely. It's not a long shot to say that the overseer is probably hunting down oil because we have a limited reserve. I'm not going to tell anyone what I think, though. They'll start avoiding me like they avoid Marie. Maybe I should apologize to her. I didn't believe her either. She was always the smartest. I thought maybe she was crazy smart. Now I see we're the crazy ones for not listening. Anders log. Date: April 1st, 2296. Brooks came to my place today after my shift. He sat down with me and shared some instant cup of joe. I think he was trying to get me to rat on any plans that I may have overheard. How he found out that I was thinking of leaving the vault is beyond me. He's right. I am on the fence. I'm not sure what I want to do. I think my skills would be well served keeping the group alive above ground. I don't want to leave the only place I've ever known. The idea of a great open space scares the living hell out of me. Troy tells me that's common for people who grew up underground. I don't know how he could know that. He told me it's a condition called agoraphobia. Whenever I think of the vault door opening up, my stomach hurts, my back tightens, and I want to run in the opposite direction, as deep in the vault as I can go.
Overseer's Log, April 1st, 2296. Making everyone work more than their standard allotted times is starting to wear on people. I can see it. They don't have as much energy to keep up the smiles. Pipe inspection day has become a mind-numbing clanging of pipes and the whirring of motors instead of a cacophony of noise and chatter. Things need to go faster, but even when they do, and I start pumping more heat into this place, what will they think? If I raise it incrementally, I could lie and say that it's a result of the Earth heating up, so no one should notice if I do it slow enough. Sometimes, Luke just sits there like a fancy lad, but today, he managed to do something important. We finally have evidence of where we can find some oil. While Luke ran the latest sample we took from somewhere south by southeast, my eyes lit up. The spectrometer began to display the telltale chemical makeup of crude oil. I'm going to get the survey team to pull a deeper sample from that region ASAP.
Marie Desandre's private log. Decrypting. April 2nd, 2296. The overseer went on the intercom today. He told us he was disappointed that so many of us seemed disillusioned with the vault. He didn't understand how we could think that the outside world would be any better than here. It's frankly shocking the depths of his ignorance sometimes. He told us he's not going to try and stop anyone from leaving the vault, probably because he's had a taste of what we're willing to do. But he continued to say that if anyone decided to leave, they wouldn't be allowed re-entry to the vault. He said that this would be in an effort to prevent outside contamination, biological or radiological. Anyone thinking of leaving should think hard if they truly want to live on the surface for the rest of their lives. Then he said, due to the unnecessary actions of Mr. Tréjoly, the maps, as well as the Pip-Boy itself, have been damaged beyond repair. That was obviously just meant as a blow to the main organizers, or conspirators, as he probably thinks of us, who wish to leave the vault. I doubt Daniel damaged the Pip-Boy at all while he had it. He's always had the most nimble fingers. No, that jackass of an overseer broke it, just like we thought he would. Daniel's still locked up. The overseer says it's because he broke into his office, but I know it's really to prevent the spread of information that could potentially be on his Pip-Boy. Some people are taking this information harshly. I think they hoped that even if they left, they would still be welcomed back, as if the door would slide open like nothing happened. I wonder who flipped and told the overseer everything we were planning. It's not hard to imagine the various ways he could have found out. This community is so small, and he's perceptive enough. He probably noticed somebody was acting odd, put two and two together. I bet he has a full roster of our names by now. It wouldn't surprise me if he's having security watch us. I think more people are seeing through the overseer's bluffs now. They're asking the important questions. The ones I got chastised for asking, when I gave more of a shit. It kind of pisses me off. I have half a mind to demand an apology from the people who called me a liar, but I know that's counterproductive. It would feel nice to have them say they finally believe in what I kept telling them. I know I'm lying to myself when I think people are doing this because they believe me. A few of them, maybe. Most probably just want a chance to begin again. So do I. We're going to need to have another meeting. I think I'm going to call out the overseer and demand a public meeting to prove we're not intimidated, and maybe we'll get more people to join us.
Renee's Terminal, April 3rd, 2296. I'm still on the fence as to whether I want to leave home. It's not a decision I want to make lightly. I figured the best person to offer some insight would be the person who's actually spent time out there. I went to the infirmary to see if I could talk to Gregor. I'm not sure what I expect. Who knows if he even speaks English? If he said anything to the doctors or the overseer, they're being very tight-lipped about it. Technova told me the weird stuff he was saying while he was flitting in and out of consciousness. I want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. What's it going to be like if I choose to leave? Of course the overseer and the doctors don't want us going anywhere near him. Initially I thought the rumors were true, that they were trying to keep us in the dark, to stop us from wanting to leave. But when I went to the infirmary, they weren't dismissive of my feelings. Instead, they told me to keep my Pip-Boy in front of me. If the Geiger counter started acting crazy, I was to leave the room right away to avoid exposure. I thought this was a joke, until I realized the room Gregor was in was actually warmer than most of the vault. Troy said it had something to do with the rads and the way they excite nearby particles. It's like being inside a microwave oven. He didn't say much that I was able to understand, whether it was the effects of the buff-out or whatever kind of drug cocktail they have pumping into him. It could be his limited vocabulary. He knew how to speak English a little bit, but most of what he said was lost on me. I don't know where he thought he was, but he seemed happy before he passed out again. I can only imagine the kind of life he's lived. I saw his body though, and that told a story in and of itself. There were scars all over, and it looked like he aged 40 years overnight. He was acclimating well to life underground. He probably enjoys being somewhere safe. He started learning a bit more English by reading books that Technova dropped off. Mostly children's books and stuff like that. It was kind of funny. For a short while, all he would do is stare at the pictures. He laughed when he leafed through a book about animals. I guess moose are funny. People make fun of me because I'm one of the few people who still has my old Canadian slave name. I don't mind. I would like to see what became of Canada after the war. Most people here think it must have been iced over, or bombed out of existence. I want to believe there's still people. Maybe down in what used to be British Columbia, or maybe as far as Newfoundland. I wonder if Gregor ever met any in his travels. He said a few words that sounded a bit like French, but I can't be too sure. It's different from any version of the language that I've ever heard. He seemed fascinated by the books that had images of boats, too. I wanted to ask him if he's ever been on any kind of extended boat trip, but I think my question was lost in translation, because he just shook his head and mimed something. I think it was supposed to be a giant worm, or a snake. Vault Security Log. Officer Percival Matthias reporting. It's been a week since we locked Daniel up. He's not too impressed with us, especially when he heard there was going to be a vault-wide meeting. I told him people who break the rules of the vault don't get to participate in its governing. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to break out. It's probably because he knows Kilroy and I wouldn't put up with that nonsense. We'd beat the crap out of him and have him back in the cell before he could say oil. Anders thinks we don't know he was part of the secret meeting in the library. He's in for a rude awakening when the Overseer does what he intends to do to him. If he thinks he's going to break into the armory, Anders is sorely mistaken. I don't know why Kilroy hasn't done something about it already. They must want to watch to see what they do next. We're all supposed to go down to the atrium at around 5 p.m. to watch the whole thing unfold. I'm not sure if the Overseer is going to use this as an excuse to lock up anyone who speaks out against him. I have no problems with that. Lock them all up until they learn to appreciate the place that keeps them healthy. If he gives the word. He is a bit of a coward. Maybe I can give him a push in the right direction. We'll see tonight. Vault Tech Mail. To Kilroy McCarver. From Anders Anderson. Subject: sick leave. My apologies, sir. I'm not sure if it's something I ate, but I haven't been able to leave the bathroom all night. Who knew that when you stored food underground for decades at a time that only some of it would go bad? It's like playing Russian roulette with my colon. In case I am getting sick, I plan to take the next couple nights off to stay in my room. Please don't come by. I would feel terrible if you got whatever I got. I'll be sure to keep you informed on when I get better. P.S. Go easy on Daniel, would you? You may call me soft as much as you like, but he's still just a kid. We all had those rebellious streaks when we were young. Remember when you stole all the towels on Friday and tried to start a rental business? All I'm saying is we all make mistakes. Maybe don't treat him too roughly. Expedition Group Minutes. Log number 2.
Overseer Brooks. So you guys had one of these meetings in secret. You didn't even bother to consider the families you might be breaking up, or the people who might lose their lives above ground. What about their importance to the vault? Things that keep us alive down here shouldn't be taken for granted. Did you think we wouldn't notice you all disappeared? You're selfish children.
Rebecca Feldspar. Okay, if you're not going to be supportive or offer constructive criticism on how we can make this a reality, then I'd prefer if you just didn't chime in, Emerson. Marie Desandre. I'm going to read the notes from the last meeting. Some of this might offend you, but there's not much to be done about that. You can save your comments for after.
Minutes read.
Overseer Brooks. So you were going to essentially steal all of this equipment and possibly lose it topside while we sit down here and slowly starve to death without any defenses?
Marie Desandre. I guess you could put it that way. I suppose we shouldn't have done things the way we did, but things have changed in this vault and there's certain issues we can't ignore anymore. Many of us want to leave before things get worse. We're all locked in this place together. It's not a good thing. We're always on edge. Lucy Charger. We've already heard what Brooks has to say about all this. We don't need his opinion again. Everyone will have all the information after this meeting. Paige Queen. Brooks has been stonewalling us in regards to Daniel's freedom. He's been trapped in there for a week now. You guys had better let him out.
Overseer Brooks. I'll let him out eventually. You can join your group when you leave, if you still think you can without the things you were going to steal.
Luke Charger. He'll let him out. I don't think he's stupid. Brooks knows what this is coming to. He knows that there's no way we're all going to choose to stay, and he's not going to kill any of us to stop that, because he knows that won't stop us.
Paige Queen. We need to make a deal today to figure out how much stuff we can take when we go topside. Is that an appropriate compromise to you, Overseer?
Overseer Brooks. It's not just about the things you were going to take with you. It's the people as well. You were planning to take one of our doctors, our engineers, vault security. Every person you're taking has a crucial job to do within the vault.
Marie DeSandra. Maybe we can come to a compromise on that too. What if those of us who are leaving personally train our replacements? Going forward, we can ensure those skills are still here in the vault, either in the younger generations or those staying behind, which is plenty of people. Look, even if everyone here today actually comes, that's less than a quarter of the total vault. You lose a few engineers, a doctor, yes, but from what I understand, Troy is staying, so you won't have to worry about not having a doctor here. Knowing that, would you be more amenable to letting all of us go in peace?
Overseer Brooks. We'll need to make up a roster of people leaving, their respective jobs, their planned replacements. I can help those who need it developing lesson plans for apprentices. If this is what you intend to offer as a bargain, then you'll need to know I won't take any less than 2 weeks training per apprentice.
Christian Demeter. If we won't have to fight our way out of the vault, you can have all the help you want. I just hope this isn't some sort of ploy to sabotage us or convince us to stay.
Overseer Brooks. I assure you, there's nothing more I'd like than that, but I've given up on that being a reality. Now, I just want to minimize the impact that this will have. Our gene pool is already getting clouded. I don't want to think of what this will do to us in 2 more generations.
Technova Marigold. Has anyone other than security gone to see Daniel since he got arrested?
David Fullmeister. I did. He's doing fine. A bit bored, but I left him with some old school books to help him pass the time. He's frustrated he can't be a part of this either. I think he realizes he won't be in there for much longer. After all, the vault does need a barber.
Rebecca Feldspar. That's it then. Everyone who's coming will need to write their names down along with their respective vault duties. Marie, myself, or Luke will visit everyone on the list to discuss the responsibilities they'll have when we exit the vault. We're going to schedule our departure for 2 weeks from today, barring any major disruptions.
Kilroy McCarver. In the meantime, I'm also going to try to have an inventory done so we can allocate an appropriate amount of supplies for your departure. Don't get your hopes up.
Melanie Drayton. Well, everyone, I think this is the best we could have hoped for this situation to play out. It's nice to see that even if we don't agree, we can still support each other to some degree. Marie DeSandra. If that's everything, I'm going to go talk to the Overseer a bit more. The rest of you can get started on your prep work, or you can spend these last few weeks with your family, however you see fit. We'll all meet here the day before we leave to make sure everyone is ready to go. We hope you enjoyed our story. Thank you again for joining us. If you'd like to hear more about why war never changes, please subscribe to get regular updates on the adventures of the dwellers from Vault 710. If you're excited about the expanding Fallout universe, please feel free to tell your friends and spread the word. If you'd like to contribute, we invite you to join our Patreon. Subscribers will get access to episodes 1 week early. Our hope is that these stories help fill the void of being unable to play Fallout 5.